Our panel, as you heard, is about reimagining marketing and how AI trends are shaping everything that we're doing. We talked a lot in our prep sessions about how do we want to approach this, and we came up with a slide because what we thought would make the most sense is for everybody here to give you a quick introduction of who they are and what type of company they represent, but then how we all collectively came together around the concept of AI strategies and what it really means to every single company, whether you're on the vendor supplier side, whether you're a brand, or whether you're an entrepreneurial business. So I'm gonna let us do introductions about the companies we represent. I'm representing Rite and Thrifty, but Kevin, you wanna talk about where you come from?
Hi everybody, Kevin Ching, SVP of Platform Solutions at Placer.ai. I run our advertising, retail, and restaurant verticals. Placer.ai, just really quickly, serves about 11 verticals. We're a market intelligence company. Apparently, we are getting into manufacturing, given the cups that I've seen. So I didn't know about that, but that was a good one. For retailers and restaurants, right? We just imagine wanting to know anything about that retail location, that market, that region that you're in, being able to understand how many people go into your stores, what are the demographics, what are the demographics of the community that you're in, are you sort of matching it, and things like that. And sort of, the way that we're thinking about AI is we just want to make information and action much faster. So, imagine a world not too distant where you'd be able to do something like, hey, Placer, where's the best place for me to launch a new clothing line for young people that are into country music, right? And so just being able to get that information really, really quickly and then be able to action on it.
Amazing. Hi, guys. I'm Chelsey. I'm founder, co-CEO of Brand.ai. Easy to find. I'm from San Francisco. My career was a decade agency side as a strategist, then 4 years at Google and 4 years at Meta, leading marketing teams in the tech space. And Brand.ai, I started building 2 years ago, a year and a half. And the premise is that we spend so much time and money investing in our brands and in these brand books and in these brand hubs that don't get utilized and kind of fall apart when it comes to the execution, especially on the retail level and down in the channels, right? So one of the things that AI can do really well is it can't build your brand for you today. There's probably a ton of very creative people in this room that are expert brand builders. What it can do is scale that expertise to all of the people who need it to execute on it. So we take all of the brand definitions, audience segmentation, all of that data, turn your AI brand or turn your brand book into a brand engine that powers your brand AI. Anybody in the company can interact with it, brainstorm with it, and most importantly, check work against it and improve work so that you're having a more consistent brand experience for your users, because it turns out that actually drives the business.
Great. And I'm Joseph Janus. I'm CEO and CMO of WeSC. It's an acronym. It's for We Are the Superlative Conspiracy. We're a streetwear brand. We've been around 25 years this year. We're super excited about celebrate that celebration. And, as a brand that connects to young people, AI is so important to us on a daily basis, and we are just finding ways of using it that have helped us tremendously. Anywhere from content creation all the way down to being super specific and super hyper personalized on how we advertise to our customers. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get into this discussion with everybody about this stuff.
Equally excited here. I'm Freddie, as you've seen already my face a couple times here on stage. Why am I here? Mint. I'm representing Mint and our vision. All these technologies and all these new processes and best practices that you put in place to use AI in the various processes of your marketing team and of your media team. Our job, let's say, is the slightly more boring part so that you don't have to do it. We are the pipes and the processes that make sure that all those technology actually collaborate together and create a workflow so that your teams have the information that they need at each step when they are about to make that very decision. So that's our place in the world. I'm particularly excited about this organization, this panel, because it literally is made of different mindsets that I have personally learned from. the content side of things, the personalization side of things that get mixed where, okay, how do you place that personalization into the world? And so thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So this is a really unique panel because it's a reverse moderation. So I'm moderating against all of this, and it's not the part of a joke. You know, a brand and a data company walk into a bar. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But we had the challenge of how do you wrap your arms around across all these companies that are leveraging AI and representing it for all of us from the brand side to be able to do our jobs more effectively and better. What does it really mean? And we came up with this breakthrough, and hopefully we can share that slide. Team in the back. All right, so you all should all take your cameras out right now and take a picture of this slide, and you should share it everywhere and tag all of us on here, because what we ended up with in our planning sessions is the fact that AI is powerful, which you all know, but we're going to break it down for you as to why it's powerful. And I'm going to start with the first part, which is, AI enables growth. We all know that. It lets you work faster and more efficiently, but that growth is people-centric. And we were just in the green room talking about, what does that mean that growth is people-centric? And Kevin, you said it in the introduction. You talked about using Placer.ai, you can identify how to drive growth based on where people actually are going to be and identify the trends. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think that, what is growth, right? Growth is getting people into your store, loving your brand, growing your brand. The United States is a very large market. And so part of that growth is showing up locally and showing up authentically into like those local communities, right? And so, the way that Placer thinks about things is how can we bring together all of this information about that local community? How can we help the brand understand what that local community is? And then how can the brand show up in that community and really be authentic, right? And so, that's where you're understanding the people, you're understanding the dynamics, you're understanding the migration patterns, you're understanding the influencers that are in the market, and just showing up, presenting locally in that brand, in that market, I think is what a big part of our growth is.
Yeah, and I think what I love about it is it makes you stop thinking about AI as just a technology. Because when AI is focused on being people-centric, it connects people, and those connections create brand love. And, Joseph, you were talking about one of the ways that you're using AI to create brand attraction and love through relevant information. And I love your hoodie example. So if you can share that with everybody, it's just fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we use AI in a way now that, okay, we have to come up with content creation. We have to come up with, what do we call these things? What do we call these different products every season? Okay, so for instance, take a hoodie. How do we spell hoodie, first of all? What's going to get the most people drawn to it? How are they spelling hoodie? Is the hoodie blue? Is the hoodie purple? What are people looking for? But it's down to such a way now, with the help of AI, that it's not just, wow, someone's searching for a WeSC hoodie, and that's how we're going to bring them to the table. No, somebody is searching for a blue hoodie from one of my competitors that I've let AI know is one of my competitors. And now AI is bringing them back to me with my advertising. Here's your blue hoodie. And we're even going to get so far down the path with this that one day you'll click, you'll see the ad of the blue hoodie, you'll go to my website, and what's going to be on the front page? Blue hoodies. So it's so hyper-personalized, and it's such a way from not only the creation of the ad, the creation of the description and copy that you're going to be using for your product, but all the way down to how that advertising applies to the individual to make it very personal.
Which is a really crazy thought. Sometimes we think about AI and we're in AI conversations about technology and efficiency and speed, but it really does bring somebody that feeling that the brand that they're looking at knows who they are and appreciates who they are. And Chelsey, you said it in the beginning, who knew brand made money, right? So when you can harness the power of AI to do the basic things but appreciate it from a brand perspective, it drives such a powerful result. And I love what you were saying about that. So talk a little bit more about how brand just the consistent exposure, I mean, we deal with that all the time in the companies that I work with, is so critical.
Yeah, I mean, I think brand, it makes sense to everyone in this room. You're at the Brand Innovator Summit. But to the rest of the company, it's kind of hand-wavy bullshit a lot of the times, right? And it's this like dark art that only a few people really understand. And as I said, the output of that is a book that very few people know how to execute on. So, Brand.ai was built from, I had to go through the exercise of rebranding Facebook to Meta. And so getting an entire company to say, this is the new brand, and changing not just the name and the logo, but the way that we speak and the type of behavior, that is the brand, right? And how it behaves in culture. That's a whole different thing that, quite honestly, the tools that we've had at our disposal aren't really helpful with. Just giving someone a book to do that isn't enough. And so there is AI as the GPT model that you talk to, and then there is AI as the technology that powers a new breed of software that enables brand to transcend to this new level of strategy, actually helping people create more personalized, impactful brand experiences. Because we're not in an era where brand is a single narrative anymore, where you're creating a TV spot and then a series of print ads, and then those inform the digital, and you package it up and you go. Your brand is a very messy mosaic. Some of those touch points you have control over, and some of those you do not. And I think for a while, we've just kind of said, it just has to be good enough. I don't have the bandwidth to care if that is totally off-brand and shitty. It's going to be fine. And I think the data is showing that it's not, right? There's a level of consistency that actually builds equity in people's minds, that familiarity, that maybe you don't have to create new ads as often as we think we do. Maybe you don't have to change agencies as often as we think we do. Maybe there's power in that kind of consistent creative quality to build resonance, and also to be able to empower rather than hold on to control because you're the only one who understands the brand. Have AI help scale that understanding so that your sales teams can use it, your customer service teams can use it, your influencers can use it, and tap into your brand and understand what it means so that they can be better ambassadors and carriers of that message.
I love that. I really love that. For someone like me, that is so empowering. Hey. Anyways, for someone like me, that is, you're speaking to me right now, because I'm in 47 countries.
Right. You can't possibly be.
I can't.
Nope.
Okay? And not only 47 countries, there's a lot of different languages that go with that as well.
Exactly. And so what works in this region might not work in that region, but how does it still ladder up to something bigger?
Then you've got licenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got partners.
Yeah.
You got distributors.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I think that you hit the point on what you're doing. It's super exciting. We should probably talk too.
Let's do it.
Deals are being done during the panels. Where's Mark?
Magic happens
Where's
at
Mark?
Brand
Let him know.
Innovators.
This is all working out the way he master planned it.
I want to double down on what you were saying, Chelsey, because I think it makes perfect sense. One thing that, when you were talking, interested me, I sit in quite a lot of quarterly earnings calls. Yeah. And some of the analysts on those quarterly earning calls are asking, what's your historical knowledge retention of your organization? Are you storing it somewhere? Can you interpret it somewhere? The use of generative AI is putting us in a position to truly gather that data, extract the insight, which is language and country-based. The interpretation of images becomes now part of the structured data. And so that architecture is something that I'm a big fan of. I see that the world is going in that direction, and it's one of the best ways, I think, to think innovation is in the sharing of that collective knowledge. There is that famous actor that did the 25th Hour. I can never remember his name. That created this amazing, this very interesting software to manage board meetings, and it's Edward Norton,
Zach.
yes, Ed Norton. He co-funded this software, and basically what this software does is a series of connected GPT that can help a board prepare for a meeting, extract notes from a meeting, make decisions from that meeting, and activate it into the supply chain.
That's right. It's, they're doing death to the board deck. It's, death to the brand book. Brands were meant to be living, right? And so what you're talking about is if, your brand has a history, your organization has a history, that informs how it evolves and grows. So it's not just, all right, throw it away, new rebrand, go. Like, it needs to grow and evolve like a person would, right? Through stages and through culture. And so having, brand as a data set, a dynamic living data set, allows for that much more than guidelines that become obsolete after a year, the same way a board deck would.
And you look at that throughout the years with some of the most iconic brands and the historic brands. In my case, the Thrifty ice cream brand has been around for almost 100 years. So we've been doing everything each of you represent as marketers and as brand owners for years, but now AI is making it so much more powerful. And I think that's just something that we can all latch into without the concern that it's going to take over our jobs. It's going to fuel our jobs and make them more intelligent. And you're doing some great stuff around personalized connections that enable us as marketers to do things we didn't have the resources, funds, or time for.
I think it's amazing how this panel actually came together, because what we're really talking about here is the synthesis of all this information. There's the synthesis of the market information. There's the synthesis of like your brand imaging. There's a synthesis of like the content that you want to create and like your design. And then I don't know if you did your mint justice about the synthesis of the workflow of making it so those things actually have rules and get applied, right? And so, as I was riffing, as you two were talking, it's like not only were you talking about being in 37 different countries and all these different languages and having to have brand, rules around that, but I would say that, a lot of the retailers out there, you've got jeans, t-shirts, and hoodies make a lot of money for retailers. But I don't know if it's always a blue hoodie, right? And like I think a retailer who's servicing the Miami tourist community needs kind of an assortment for that. But somebody who's servicing the local Miami community needs another one. So that's another layer that you need to your brand, you need to your AI, and that you need to your workflow. And so those are the type of things, though, that bring that localization and make it like, no, I'm a brand that shows up in this community.
Absolutely.
To a point, what you're making me think right now, it's this. We have been focusing a lot on point solutions that do one specific thing extremely well, and we kind of own it right now. And so we're just chasing after the next big thing, where I actually think that who was the CMO of Patricia Corsi, the CMO of Kimberly-Clark, that says that the age of collaboration has come, whereby all these technologies and all the teams that we have, the media team, the marketing team, the finance team that finances everything, the alliances team, they have to talk together in discussing, all right, how do we use what we've learned from Placer? How do we use what we've learned from Brand.ai? How do we make all of that not only a blue hoodie, but in which countries, on what channel, with what format are we going to go after? Is it going to be a long, short? Which one? See what I mean? And so I think that it's gotten to a point in which we have to mature the conversation around AI to start shaping that it has to seep into the pores of operations as well.
The companies that embrace that, the ones that are going to go up, and the companies that say, oh, I'm not sure,
Spoken like a true prodigy.
I mean, I would take it even one step further from age of collaboration to age of critical thinking. I'm in San Francisco. I do guest lecturing at Berkeley when I can, and the biggest question I get from those students is, in this age of AI, do I have a job? Am I in the wrong major? Like, is there a place for entry-level people in this field anymore? What am I going to do?
Do you ever just say yes?
Sometimes, no. What I tell them is what your path is going to look very different than mine and the people before you, because you will not be coming into this industry learning the old way of doing things and taking direction. You are going to have to come in as an orchestrator and be the one who is using tools to interrogate what's been done, to interrogate decisions that are being made, and then use those tools to delegate out. And that's just a different mindset. And it's exactly what you're talking about. We have all of these answers now. We need to be the ones with taste and curation ability and look at the different scenarios that AI is providing us and say, that one. And have that kind of human curation instinct to be able to move it forward, and that critical thinking to use AI as a co-pilot and collaboration partner instead of being the one that is just executing.
Yeah, these are all such powerful conversation points, and we only have 5 minutes left, so I do want to open it up to questions from the audience, and maybe we could take one or two, and then you can speak to all of us for the rest of the day, because this really was such
need a second panel.
Yeah, we'll be
Part
doing
two.
the extended panel.
Let's just carry on. They're not going to mind.
Wait, maybe we can get a hold of the MC and just have him.
Right, exactly.
Oh, hey, Frank.
Change in plan.
Does anybody have a question or two before they kick us?
I can start because it's the premise of Brand.ai is to build the brand brain, right? That it's AI that actually understands your brand. And so, yes, you can use it on our platform to brainstorm, to check work against. It evaluates voice and tone, visual guidelines, audience resonance, and risk. Are you going to piss somebody off with this? Is it cultural third rail? It gives feedback. But it also serves as the brain to plug in to other services that you may be using, right? Whether it's Figma where you're creating, or Google Docs where you're creating, so that you have kind of this brand partner that is educating the AI. Because AI, it's just another search engine. It's just a better way to search. And so, I worked at Google. It was organize the world's information and make it useful. AI is making it more useful. But it doesn't have the data and the historical knowledge of the brand and your audience and your tone. How do you make it feel authentic? That's kind of the premise that we started from. And so that's what we're trying to do.
It doesn't replace your DNA.
No.
I mean, your DNA and what makes your brand, AI is not going to have any effect on whatsoever. It's only going to guide you as the most useful tool you've ever had. That's it.
To scale it.
That's it. Yeah, to scale.
Yeah.
To scale and to keep the message on point, and to stay more organized, and to get every team that's involved with your brand understanding how the brand should be spoken
On the
to.
same page.
Yeah, on the same page, spoken to from their point of view, from their department.
There is one thing that I wanted to add to this, which is very close to my heart. Authenticity, I think, comes from intentionality. Intentionality comes from decision-making. Those who are not authentic are those who are reactive. It's as simple as that. And so if you manage to gather all your data, all your processes, where those micro decisions are made every day. Why do I say micro decisions? Because the CMO cannot possibly control everything. It has to be delegated to the lowest common denominator, which is where the rubber meets the road. See what I mean? And so the safety point here of AI is that it actually can gather and work and orchestrate and guide the workflow on all the micro decisions that are made every day. And this is why I'm so passionate about the operationalization of AI rather than, let's implement just another WhatsApp for my business. See what I mean? So,
Closing thoughts, Kevin?
I'll let the audience go. We help clients with their brand, so it's not for us to stay on point.
Look, I think to wrap this panel up, and thank you all so much for all of your insights and ideas. It's really everything that we all said. AI is a great technology that drives growth, but growth is very people-centric. And you can't be people-centric if you're not focusing on driving love to the brand. And in order to do that, AI is going to help you do it in real time and in a personalized way, leveraging the data that you need. So it's a super powerful tool for all of us used in the right way.
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.